Welcome back, students. In this session, we'll be starting with a new chapter, that is chapter 10, First War of Independence. Earlier, in the last chapter, we have studied how the impact of British rule was over India, and the question answers of those will be given to you in this in very soon. So we will start this chapter, and I have already told the portions. So we'll be starting those portions now. As we know that in 1757, the establishment of English rule properly in India started. In 1757, we know that the Battle of Plassey happened, and in that battle, after that battle, British could actually establish their rightful rule. Like earlier, they had to depend on the ruler's permission, the particular ruler's permission to conduct the trade, to conduct their to implement their various policies before 1757 or before the Battle of Plassey. But after the Battle of Plassey, or since the time the Battle of Plassey was fought, uh, the British could rightfully had the British rightfully had their uh, control over the Bengal province. They rightfully had the control over the revenue, everything, and they could actually have the province of Bengal under their control. So they had established their rule very legally and rightfully after the Battle of 1757. And the first war of independence, okay, so 1757, the Battle of Plassey. If so, now just think about this: if the 1757 war or the Battle of Plassey was won by Sirajuddaula, then the history would have been a bit different as compared to the one which we will be studying now, or which we are continuing to study. So that was the first initiation of British rule rightfully, and the revolt against that rule by the king, or by the few people who favored the king, was towards greater good, and was towards not getting under any control of any foreign power by the getting control of any foreign power and having the own government by themselves. So now the first war of independence, the British have already established their control, and they have started gaining control over most of the territories of India by various policies. We have already studied about how the annexation of Awadh happened, doctrine of lapse have been implemented, subsidiary alliance, then permanent settlement, how the Rajwari system and the Mehelwadi system are established. So all of this we have discussed about. So this have after some point of time, when Indians got to realize that they are being treated badly, cruelly, or they are being cheated on, or they are being they had to live on the pleasure of the British, of a foreign power in their own country. Certain revolts in certain places started. So first revolt was, like, it is considered as the first war of independence, because this was the first united revolt in a place for the Swaraj, or for independence. So this sought the this helped to sow the seeds of independence in the Indian history. Now the first is political causes. Political causes was because of this doctrine of lapse, because of this various annexation policies of British, the Indians got really frustrated over the rule. Just not frustrated, Indians got angered by the rule, by the cruel rule, or by the illegitimate demands of the British power. So mainly this policy of annexation of Indian territory was not taken nicely by the Indians, by the Indian rulers and the Indian people. So this doctrine of lapse had brought many territories under the control of British, like Jhansi, Gwalior, all of this. So this and their annexation policies also had this Peshwa Bajirao two this Peshwa Bajirao II's son, adopted son Nana Sahib was also refused the promised amount of compensation or promised amount of pension that he was supposed to receive, which was not given to Nana Sahib. And then the whatever was promised by the British was not being fulfilled properly by them. And then the Jhansi's adopted heir to the throne was also not accepted by the British, and henceforth, by the doctrine of lapse, they had annexed the state of Jhansi, and Awadh was also annexed in the pretext of misgovernment, maladministration, and all. And in these territories, the British had established their rule and started having control over the finances, the revenue, everything. And they used to implement rigorous policies of taxation on the Indians without considering their condition, and the condition of the people, the condition of the Indians over that place of time worsened day by day. Now, social and religious causes. So, social and religious causes were Britishers were having a different type of culture. They were having a different type of religion from initiation only. So, mostly in India we had Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, but in Britain it was mostly Christianity. So there was a difference in the religious beliefs. There was differences in cultural identity. Everything was different. Language, everything was different. So British could not connect with the Indians, their psychology, their beliefs, thinking, thought process, and everything, which had infuriated the distances or the problems in between them, which could not be solved by negotiations, or which could not be solved by round table talks. Then certain legislations, certain legislation against sati, female infanticide, and support of widow remarriage was taken in favor of Indian society, and which was taken in favor of Indian society, which helped the Indians. But this was not taken very nicely by most of the people, most of the Indians, because this was against their religious beliefs also. Then racial discrimination, which was practiced by the British, like whites and the blacks, the black Indians or the brown Indians were not treated equally with the white, or the dark skin was not treated equally by the Britishers, and they were being insulted, they were being mistreated everywhere they went. So this was also not taken by the Indians very nicely, and this angered the Indians to revolt against them. Dissatisfaction among the Indians grew with the Western education. So Western education was basically implemented for their good, for the Britishers' good, and they had in their mind that they have to take up Indians to help them in the administration process, in various clerical jobs. They have to employ Indians in order to save the money, that is to be spent in this colony and in the administration process, which was not taken taken very nicely by the Indians, and anger grew among the Indians uh, because of this form of education. Then the activities of Christian missionary, who wanted to convert more people to Christianity, and also they wanted to implement English as important language and important mode of communication, also angered the Indians, because this was actually harming their own cultural heritage and cultural identity and language also. So then these were the social and religious causes. Then the economic causes. So since the machine made goods of the British market could not machine made goods were more in number, and the machine made goods were better, and the Indian goods that were handmade and that were made in very small scale could not compete with the textile goods, could not compete with the machine made goods by the British in the international market and in the national market as well, which which led to the closing down of various handloom industries and various cottage industries in India, which had uh, which resulted in lots of increase in unemployment and increase in poverty and increase in poor people in the country. So this led to the increase in anger among the people. Then high custom duties were implemented on the import Indian exports, and then Indians were restricted from selling their goods in international markets to other countries. Like Indians could only sell their goods to the Britishers, and the Britishers will Britishers were had implemented such policies that they would be selling their goods at increased rate, while they would be buying the products, they will be buying at a decreased rate, which will lead to the shift or the drain of wealth from India to enrich the British economy, which angered the people of India. And Indian farmers were also hit by this natural calamities and various other things, and the revenues, the various taxes which were implemented on the Indian farmers had led to the deterioration in the condition of the farmers, which again infuriated them against the British. And then people were dissatisfied about the heavy taxes which were implemented. So this is about the economic causes. Now the military causes. So the salary of the Indian soldiers who were recruited to serve the army, to serve the nation, and serve the the British country or the UK, to serve UK also. They were paid very less. They were paid very low as compared to the British soldiers, which again angered the Indian soldiers. That Indian soldiers were considered to be inferior as compared to the British soldiers. Again, this racial discrimination was prevalent. Then the General Service Enlistment Act. General Service Enlistment Act was implemented in 1856, which brought Lord Canning for new recruits, which had resulted in the Bengal army, which had made this compulsory for the Bengal army to serve anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world. So this led to what? Like the British could use the Indian army to increase their colonies over the world. So Indian army was used to increase the British possession. So this angered the soldiers. Then immediate cause. Immediate cause is like something which happened, which infuriated and led to the first war of independence. So the greased cartridges. So this there was a rifle. There was an Enfield rifle which was introduced to the soldiers in. This particular rifle infuriated this revolt of 1857. So what happened was this Enfield rifle was greased. The cartridges to be used for the Enfield rifle was greased with the fat of pig. And before using the cartridges, or before loading the cartridges in the rifle, the soldiers had to tear the cartridges, tear the the covering of the cartridges with their teeth. So if so this was totally rejected by the Indian soldiers, because this was against their religious identities, and this will harm their religious belief. So this was they denied to do this. They denied to you know use the Enfield rifle, and they were forced to use this Enfield rifle by the Britishers, which infuriated this particular revolt. So the Hindus and the Muslim soldiers had both denied to use this particular cartridge, which is the immediate reason of the cause of this revolt of 1857. Now, the one who was one of the important person in leading the protest, or in starting this revolt, was Mangal Pandey, who started the revolt at Barrackpur. So before also certain revolts were happening in many parts of the country. So this many revolts were already happening in 1857, 1806 in Vellore, and in Barrackpur also before, like in 1824 in Barrackpur and 1806 in Vellore. Those revolts were crushed successfully by the Britishers. But this revolt, this particular revolt of 1857, infuriated by Mangal Pandey at Barrackpur, and who denied using this particular rifle at any cost. So this was started at 29th March in 1857, and which led to the revolt in spreading in many parts of the country, and which was a important revolt against the British rule or British administration. So, and the way this revolt was controlled, the way the people were suppressed, hanged, and executed was again angered the people of India. And this particular revolt is revolt of 1857 is considered to be the first war of independence, and this sowed the seed of independence among the Indians. So this is about it. Whatever we have discussed till now, the rest of the portions of the chapter will be discussed in the next class. Go through the chapter, and if you have any doubts, we can discuss that in the online class. So that will be all. Thank you.